Welcome to the City of Newport regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, October 20th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Please rise for a moment of silent reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tiffany, please call the roll.
Commissioner Radwanski,
Here.
Vice Mayor Smith-Morrow,
Here.
Commissioner Recton,
Here.
Commissioner Sutherland,
Here.
Mayor Kaduli.
Here. Welcome all. And we're going to kick it right off with a presentation. And we welcome Paige Ellerman of the Newport Penguin Swim and Dive Team with the assistance of others because there's too many trophies for her to carry alone.
There are too many trophies. Do you mind if I come up and kind of show off our
yes.
swag from the year?
Hardware.
Our hardware from the year. Here you go. And
Very nice.
Oh, very cool.
Love it.
Thank you, sir.
thank you so much for having me again. My name is Paige Ellerman. I am a resident of Newport. I've lived in Newport for the better part of 25 years.
Thanks.
I'm here tonight with my partner in life, Brian Ellerman, who is by association a tremendous supporter of the Newport Penguin Swim and Dive Team. And then also my partner in crime, Detective Chris Boyd, who has been with the Newport Police Department for the last 11 years. So Chris and I have been running the swim and dive team and the swim lesson program for the last 3 or 4 years together. This is my last presentation to you. I have quote unquote retired. My 2 children who started the team when they were 4 years old just graduated from high school. Now they're in college. So it was an appropriate time for me to pass the torch. But we had a great summer and I'm really excited to share some of that with you. You see all those blue trophies in front of you. We had just an amazing summer. I would like to thank John Hayden and Brian Steffen. We had more support from the city this summer than we've ever had before. We've always had wonderful support, but the new city manager and team have been phenomenal. It just makes it so much easier. I think we have a wonderful model for how you do recreation in a city and partner with the city to do it. We've been doing it now for 14 years. It's really been 15 years because it took us a year or so to get up and running. But we had, on a sheet in front of you, have the highlights from the summer. We had 167 swimmers and divers this summer. 167. Largest team in the Northern Kentucky Swim League. Northern Kentucky Swim League has been around 55, 60 years. We are a powerhouse. We have so many kids of so many ages. Teams, it's kind of hard to do a meet with us now because we have so many 8 and unders. Our swim lesson program is feeding, and we're just big. We are the least expensive team to join in the NKSL, and that's consistent with the mission that we started with 15 years ago when the commissioners at the time approved starting the team. Our mission is to make swimming and diving and swim lessons accessible to everyone without cost as a barrier. This summer, we had 12 family scholarships that we gave that made this experience possible, and we're really proud of that. We had a coaching staff of entirely current or former Penguins. We had a coaching staff of 7. It's a big summer coaching staff. That doesn't include our volunteers. So we have 3 diving coaches and 4 swim coaches. We have to do that with that many kids for it to be safe. Safety, of course, is our #1 concern. This summer, thanks to our partnership with the managers of the Newport Vets Pool, we were able to expand the number of swim lesson sessions that we offered from 6 to 8. So we were able to offer free swim lessons, predominantly to children in Newport, 85%, and then additionally free to other children in Campbell County to 144 kids this summer. And that brings our total in excess of 1,200 children who have been served with free swim lessons through the Newport Penguins team over our history. We're very proud of that. I've included 1 or 2 pictures around that. Just really quickly, our season always launches with the Newport Memorial Day Parade. We're really proud of that. It's a fun tradition. It concludes with a team banquet that's sponsored by Pompilios. Larry Geiger and team do a wonderful job providing us catering, so we have a free banquet for everyone. Throughout the summer, you have some photos of team breakfast and themed meets. I think there's a Hawaiian picture in there. We have a Penguins Palooza, which is a fundraiser that's internal, where we try to, we pay for everything through the money that the families give us in our partnership with the city to be able to retain that money to pay for our coaches and to pay for activities. We also have an annual parent relay night. There's a picture of that. We had our most parent relays ever. You have a picture of a flying dad. That would be from our annual parent diving competition, which happens when we finish the season. Of course, there are awards with those. We really build community and tradition. We love all of these things. We had 5 seniors this year. I listed where they're all off in college. It is worth pointing out that 2 of our swimmers are on scholarships to swim Division I in college. Sarah Luttrell is at NKU, and then my son, Jagger Ellerman, is at Seton Hall, both swimming. And then our other seniors, Rain Ellerman's at Rollins College, Tori Eckert's at UK, and Russell Johnson Ball is at U of L on a full engineering scholarship. Yeah, very, very cool. We had our first Penguins alumni night this year, where we brought back Penguins. I think it's really going to take off. The people who missed it were pretty disappointed. We gave out really cool Penguin keychains to all of our alumni who came. There's a picture of those guys. People who've been part of the team over the years really loved the team. When they saw it on social media, they showed up. It was great. We had our most successful postseason ever, which is really exciting. The league does not let everyone compete in the championship meets. We can only enter 2 kids per event per age group. Because we're such a big team, we have a lot of depth. So what that means is there's a secondary kind of tier to championships called the Classics. We won both of those. Those are the 2 trophies right here. And that's because of the depth. So we won the Dive Classic and the Swim Classic. We've never won both of those together before. We are really proud of that. And when I say we won by a lot. It wasn't really close. So that just kind of shows you the depth of our team with our numbers. We have Reed Spalding, who's an 11-12 boy. He set 3 NKSL records this summer. 3 NKSL records, which is the most that you can individually set. We dominated in the senior group. So those kids who stay, we have more kids stay on our team as they get older. They start to drive, kids want to do other stuff. Our kids come back. We dominated the league. We won every single relay and more events in the 15-18 group than any other team. We had 9 individual event winners. And then finally, in the whole league, we finished 3rd in diving, 3rd in swimming, and then 3rd overall combined. So we're very proud of our summer. Moving forward, Detective Boyd is going to be your point of contact. I'll still be behind the scenes, but I will not be front and center. If I've done a good job over the years, I think, and I hope I have, these endeavors are really about legacy and setting things up for the future. I think we're really set up well for the future. I think our success this summer, and more importantly than the success and the trophies, is the fun that the kids had and the memories that we created and the community we created around Pride for Newport. That is unquestionable, and I'm open to questions if anyone has any. Did I miss anything, Chris?
I don't think so.
Any questions?
I think it's
I'm
fantastic.
sure we're going to have lots of questions. Let's stand up. I'm going to applaud this. This is an exciting day. Good work. Anyone on the board? Well, I'll add. The Penguins came along at the perfect time. From a recreation standpoint, and I think most people know this, the pool was on the verge of being shuttered and closed. And there wasn't consensus to keep it going forward. This Penguin concept came, and it was difficult in the first years. You didn't win much in the beginning, but look at how much you're winning now. But the biggest thing is that recreational opportunity, not only is it important to the community, it's gotten more and more important over the years. And your team that started that made that possible. Generation of kids are going to be a part of something special. I missed your proclamation when it was provided, but thank you. Everything in it was 100% accurate, and it wouldn't have happened without your team And Chris, you got a lot of responsibility on your shoulders now, and I'm sure you know that. And I like the fact that there's been a transition and you've been working together. So again, thank you so much for all you've done all these years.
Thank you. Thank you,
Nicely done.
everybody. I'll grab my card.
Yes.
We gotta find a place for it. It's on the list. It's on the list.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that moves us to the approval of the minutes from the September 15th meeting and the special meeting on September 29th.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or corrections? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Commissioner Sutherland,
Yes.
Commissioner Radwanski,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Smith Morrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Recton,
Yes.
Mayor Kaduli.
Yes. That moves us to new business, Commissioner's Order Number 71. What? Oh, I'm sorry. We got to do public forum. If anyone has anything to speak about that is not on the public's agenda, this is your opportunity. Public forum going once? Twice? Public forum is now closed. Now we'll move to new business, Commissioner's Order Number 71.
In an order of the Board of Commissioners, City of Newport, Kentucky, authorizing and approving the issuance of taxable industrial building revenue bonds to be issued in an aggregated principal amount not to exceed $5 million, the proceeds of which shall be used to finance the acquisition, construction, installment, improvements, and equipping of industrial building facility or facilities to be leased to NXG Holdings LLC, a Kentucky limited liability company, its affiliates, successors, and/or assigns, authorizing and approving a lease agreement, a bond purchase agreement, and such other related documents, certificates, and agreements, and authorizing such other actions necessary or required related to the issuance of bonds and the financing of the project, including but not limited to a fee joinder to the mortgage and other customary and commercially reasonable documents in favor of the lender providing financing to the project, with the understanding that the issuance of the bond shall be conditioned upon compliance with the terms of the pilot agreement.
So moved.
Second.
John?
Mayor, this is the actual authorization of the bonds themselves. As the board is aware, this came before us probably in February of this year. This is related to the Nexogen project, and that is going to add jobs to the city, primarily located at the old U.S. Bank building on Monmouth Street, but it will also involves the former Molenkamp Funeral Home on York Street. And Mr. Parsons is here to take any questions as related to that.
Jim, welcome. I'm sure we have some questions on the board. Who's first? Mike, go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor and Jim. How many new jobs do you think this is going to be creating for us, would you
The
say?
minimum number is about 75 new jobs there. That's in addition to what they already have in the city there. I think, in fact, I was actually on a call earlier today with John Salisbury, who we were on a joint call with the TV station about the project and things. And he was indicating that he felt the jobs numbers were actually lower. You know, they didn't want to overcommit because you have to meet certain requirements under the state's KBI program, but he was really high on this particular project to move this forward. Just a couple procedural issues, just for informational purposes, and which the board already knows. These IRBs are not the debt of the city; they are totally the responsibility of the project and of Nexogen, and they don't impact the city's creditworthiness or is not a pledge of the city's full faith and credit. Subsequent to the time the board induced the project in February, we did go to the state and get approval of the state local debt officer. So all the procedural issues have been done yet. Then in, I think, May of this year, they actually went ahead and purchased the two properties. And so now, quite frankly, they had a separate loan to purchase the properties. Now they're moving forward on the construction financing, and that's when we'll close on the bonds and the construction financing at that time. They are working on plans. I think the plans for the current building on the bank are pretty far along, and they are working on plans for the use of the Molenkamp Funeral Home. That will be at least a partially residential use One of the things they are talking about is providing some additional housing for their own employees there and stuff, as well as some other uses for that particular facility. So,
Thanks, Jim. I think it's very exciting to both create new jobs in our city, hopefully ones where folks can live in Newport. Sounds like in this instance that people will be able to do that, but also to be able to activate two very historic buildings inside of our city. So very much so, I think this is exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
one thing too, I just want to point out, the pilot agreement that the city manager negotiated provides actually substantial pilot payments to the city, county, and school districts. So this is probably the smallest IRB you'll see. It provides, it's a very, very reasonable pilot agreement that has been signed off on, not only by this board, but also by the Board of Education approved it, as well as the county.
Anyone else on the board?
I think
Go ahead, Aaron.
Go ahead, Aaron.
What's the timeline on this? When's this? When does he think it's going to be complete? When's he going to start the hiring process, et cetera?
I would not be surprised if they've already started some of the hiring process relative to that, and probably using them in existing situation. In fact, I'm not directly involved with that particular part of the incentive, but I did talk to my counterpart at KMK today, and who indicated that he believed they were already moving forward in that. We plan to close the loan and bonds in November, so I would anticipate you'll start seeing some pretty active renovation taking place after that. Mr. Salisbury today on the fall call indicated that he was thinking this was at least a 9-month construction process for the renovation of the bank building.
We're excited to see some activation on those two sites. They've been vacant for a while, and the U.S. Bank building especially takes up a pretty big portion of that block of Monmouth Street. So we're excited about it, and hopefully he can get this thing rolling.
Well, one of the things too that he touted during and you might even see it on TV during the interview is re-emphasized again, because of the way that building is designed with a very large lobby area. That is going to be some community space that can be utilized, especially for presentations about technology, but now they'll have to handle the security issues into there. But they do definitely plan for that space to be used significantly for public presentations about technology issues, interfacing with UC, NKU, and the other universities in the area to really promote technology and security in particular type technology that they're focused on. And I think you'll see that as being a real hub for intellectual activities in the city.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Ken?
No, I think all my questions got answered, Tom.
Oh, okay, great. Again, those properties are critically important to our community. They're central, they're focused, they're large structures, and they're prominent, and look forward to getting those back in service. The idea of this being technology, it also correlates to artificial intelligence technology side of things. So it's forward thinking. John is actually a leader in the community on this, so it's going to be interesting to see how quickly it develops. Anyone else?
Yes, please.
Julie.
Mayor, thank you. I recall when we had discussions with Mr. Salisbury back late winter, I guess, discussion about interaction and educational opportunities for our students in Newport schools.
Based upon the way he was talking today, that those seem to be still real opportunities.
That would be awesome. That would be something I would really love to see. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Tiffany, please call the roll.
Commissioner Radwanski,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Smith Morrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Recton,
Yes.
Commissioner Sutherland,
Yes.
Mayor Kaduli.
Yes. Commissioner's Order number 72.
An order of the Board of Commissioners, City of Newport, Kentucky, authorizing and directing Mayor Thomas L. Kaduli Jr. to execute a gift agreement between Educate KY and the City of Newport regarding the Read Ready Newport Planning Grant in support of the Read Ready Newport Initiative.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor, this is the grant agreement, partnership agreement with Educate NKY as it relates to Read Ready. The board is familiar with the Read Ready program. To give you a little overview, though, we did have a kickoff this week outside the Make It Rain building. They did a little block party outside, which was very well attended. We had reps from not just the school, but other agencies there. I think they said over 200 kids signed up for some of the reading materials through this program while they were there. So we had a DJ from Kiss 107. It was just a really well-attended event, brought a lot of vibrancy to the neighborhood. It's something that we would look forward to doing as a yearly event, among other things. So this agreement right here kind of lays out our obligations, and then it comes with, which is essentially a $15,000 grant from Educate NKY. There's another $10,000. You'll see it's $25,000. There's $10,000 of that which goes toward branding, but there's $15,000 that we have a great deal of latitude with which to spend on the program. So some of the things is that, having a committee looking at the resources that exist and partnering people up with that. So for example, Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, getting signed up for that allows a child from birth to age 5 to get one free book a month. That's age appropriate. As through partnership with St. Elizabeth, they've agreed to start having new parents sign up for the program while they're there, which should go a long way. There's also a Footsteps to Brilliant app. There was I believe the mayor was still on the board when we had tried this program many years ago. However, it's greatly expanded, and again, part of this is the outreach and making sure that people are aware of it, because this is geotagged, allowing any child in the city of Newport. You don't have to be in Newport. You don't have to go to Newport Public Schools at all to utilize this option. And this is something that we hope that we can get parents to start exposing to their children and then them using. Further, we're starting to build out a larger committee with which to bring in volunteers, help kids read, create other opportunities within spaces. So we have lots of potential partners for this, a lot of good conversations going on behind the scenes. So this is a really exciting program. We've got Jenny Watson here from Educate NKY, who is to answer any questions that you guys might have about the partnership or the program in general.
Jenny, welcome.
Thank you for having me. And I would just say, John, it's like you might know someone in early childhood space. That was very well said. So yeah, I'm just here for any questions.
On the board. Go ahead, Julie.
Well, so it's a great event Saturday, and a lot of people showed up. I was going to guess a couple hundred as well, maybe 300.
We did give away 520 Kona Ices.
Yeah, okay.
If that's any kind of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we enrolled, in terms of families, 109 families. Many of those have multiple children. So that's kind of speaking to the couple hundred that John mentioned.
How many community partners would you say are going
I'd
to
say
be
we
engaged?
had probably about 12 to 15 community partners who are very engaged in the work beyond the event. They will be active partners as we launch this committee and really help kind of scale this to elevate it to a larger, population of students and children.
Would you say that the earlier focus will be with the very younger kids? I got the impression that would be the 0 to 5 would be the primary focus in the beginning, at least. Yeah.
I do think that's where the leadership gap lies. Once they're in some sort of schooling, public school, homeschooling, or private schooling, they're kind of tracked, and there's an accountability there, and a communication and trust is built with, but we're trying to build that infrastructure really in that prenatal care through age 5 so that kids are ready. And really it becomes, from a public educator standpoint, we call it a child find, because you're accountable to that when you're in a school district. When you're not in a school district, there's kids are all over the place and they move, and there's a lot of transiency down here among our communities. So it's a matter of kind of finding that stability and then keeping those services coherent as kids and families move.
I'm really glad that this is all getting going, and
Thank you for being
very
here
happy to
on
be
Saturday.
part of this. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Aaron.
So just a few questions. As a person who has two children that are under the age of 3, how can parents get involved? We've signed up for the Imagination Library, which is fantastic. We get the books in the mail, and my mom's also a public librarian, so I have way too many books already. But it's still nice to have. These are different books, Yes. So can you talk a little bit about the other resources that John talked about, and just how can the public get involved?
Yeah, so one of the major, I would say, investments is in the Footsteps to Brilliance app that John mentioned. So This was an Educate and KY purchase. It is every child in the zip codes in the river cities. So that includes private school, public school, any child, and really that age is 3 to age 10. And it's a literacy language-based app. It is bilingual, so it is for Spanish and English speakers. If you're a Spanish person, you want to learn English, you could read books and nursery rhymes in Spanish. So it goes both ways. So that was a significant investment. I think in addition to that, the assets really are kind of that community-led, you know, and really finding those kids and families to come to events that are literacy-focused. I actually just dropped off a care package that someone won a raffle at the event, and I was at their home, and they invited me in, and we were having a conversation about what Read Ready is and Footsteps to Brilliance, and they spoke a little bit of English, a lot of Spanish, but we were able to kind of, you know, so it's those kind of relationships and going into the communities to find these children and families to invite them into really what early learning is, because there is a gap where a lot of communities may not think learning happens before 5 years old. So it's changing that mindset.
Fantastic, yeah, and I think it's important that the city is involved with this in addition to the schools, because the schools really don't see the children until they're of kindergarten age, and then they have the kindergarten readiness test, and as we've seen, the kindergarten readiness is not there, and that's a big reason why this program has now come to fruition. So I think it's super important for us to, as a community, not just the schools, but also the city, try to help with this issue. So thank you for being here, and thanks for all the info.
And I'll just do a little plug too. At the Make It Rain Hoops, Phil Griffin has been a heroic partner in this, and I've got to call that out. So he gave us a space where we activated it. Vice Mayor was in the room, and you might have come in there too, Ken. But it's an early learning space that we're going to figure out a way to operationalize and have multiple hours of the day where this space is available, kind of like the feeling of a community center. There could be partner programming going on in there, but it is really meant for infants, toddlers, up through preschoolers. And we want to do more in that space. We want to really bring this space to life. It's in the west side of Newport. There's not a community center on that side of town, so it's something that we want to activate, and we'll continue to invest in it. So I just wanted you to know that.
I just want to say thank you, Jenny, and Josh, thank you very much for taking the yoke and running with it, and Jenny, appreciate it. And Phil Griffin's efforts have been yeoman work. I mean, it really is. He absolutely cleaned up a lot that needed to be cleaned up and made it a nice seating area, and it's going to be a great community space, so I really appreciate that. The big thing that I want to emphasize is the thing that I've learned through this whole process is there's plenty of assets, and there's plenty of community service providers, but what we lack is coordination, and we don't know what each are doing. So having a committee that comes together, like you say, John, on a regular basis and recognizes how many ASQs are you doing and who are you seeing, and serving our community, really serving our community, with the city making the lead of that effort is just so needed and so warranted. I appreciate everything you're doing, so thank you very much. It was great. One other question. Is there a way to register for
Yes.
online? I mean,
Yes, so I do have QR codes. It's easier for a lot of people. Yes, so I will be working a lot with our schools and our daycare centers to be on site. The easiest way for families is just go to myf2b.com. myf2b.com. And I will be on site with like iPads, and that way they can register right there, and then we can continue to kind of stay communicative with families through text message and through email.
I have to say one thing. I always said one thing before, but I'll say another one. I was shocked how many families came to the registration table that the children were interpreting for parents.
A lot.
A lot.
You were there, yes.
A lot of kids were telling mom what this says, but once you get onto the app or the enrollment is bilingual, so you can do it either way. So it was really good. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Again, all of this wouldn't have happened without the seeds that were planted, and Ramona with the school district was critical. Phil was critical, and this event, Phil is a lot like me. Action steps, let's do something. We've had enough meetings talking, let's do something. So the activation and actually connecting with families for the first time is a building block to continue connecting. So that connection was strong at this one, and I think that people are going to hear about it and feel like they missed something. So we'll get the next group of families and continue to grow that network. So thank you for all your work on this as well.
Nice.
Tiffany, please call the roll.
Excuse me, Vice Mayor Smith Morrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Recton,
Yes.
Commissioner Sutherland,
Yes.
Commissioner Redwanski,
Yes.
Mayor Kaduli.
Yes. Commissioner's Order number 73.
An order of the Board of Commissioners, City of Newport, Kentucky, authorizing and directing Mayor Thomas L. Kaduli Jr. to execute a temporary construction easement agreement with 400 Monmouth LLC and World Peaceful Hospitality as LLC regarding the World Peace Development Apartment and Hotel Project.
So moved.
Second.
John or Brian?
Mayor, this is just a simple temporary construction easement for the World Peace Bell site, primarily due to the tight nature of the site with 3 construction projects going on at one time. There'll be some overlap on staging and equipment, et cetera. This easement agreement doesn't obligate the city to anything other than just allowing use and access for construction on the city's parcel there, and it will expire once the construction project is completed.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions on the board?
Brian, do you have any idea of how long it'll be?
It's all going to depend on urban sites and when they get started, but that could be about 18 months from when they begin.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions from the public? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Commissioner Recton,
Yes.
Commissioner Sutherland,
Yes.
Commissioner Redwanski,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Smith Morrow,
Yes.
Mayor Kaduli.
Yes. Commissioner's Order number 74.
An order of the Board of Commissioners, City of Newport, Kentucky, authorizing the city manager, John Hayden, to enter into an agreement with Custom Design Benefits to act as the city's third-party administrator in partnership with Jefferson Health Plan with various insurance companies to provide for the City of Newport's employees' health and dental insurance needs.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor, this is, Cheryl Morgan's reps are here to discuss this as well. This is our yearly health and dental benefits, and they will explain the details as it relates to that. One of the things that I will point out in your packet was the employee side of this and what the cost would be. As the board is aware, we've changed over in an effort to maximize our value with health insurance. We went out into the market last year and came up with Jefferson Health Plan. They said it's about 2 years to start seeing results. So one of the things that we saw with Jefferson, though, this year, that our rates are lower, the increase is lower than we expected it to be, which is positive. We had held some money back as it relates to that for contingencies. The plan had been on the prior city manager to break up the large increase over 2 years with our employees. To give some background, the city had subsidized a significant part of the employee share since about 2007, and that's because of the economic downturn that happened at the time. We weren't able to offer raises to our employees. So as that number started ballooning larger and larger, there was 1 year that we covered $700,000 of that through the general fund. So that just budgetarily, we had to make those things balance out. So the idea being that the employee pays 20% of the overall cost, which they hadn't done previously. After conversation with some of the staff and with Local 45, the conversation that we had was, it is a steep ask. It would be $150 extra a month on the top plan, which most of our employees use. So the conversation that we had and the recommendation that I have is that we'll split that increase over another year. So we'll have a 15% increase this year, they're about 15%, and then again next year with whatever the other increase is for the cost of health insurance. So those are things that we look at. We're going to continue looking at all the options as it relates to keeping healthcare down, as well as having conversation with our employees, with the unions as well, about things that individuals can do to help keep the cost down as well. You know, using generic when you can, going to the Care Here clinic as opposed to the emergency room, different things like that will go a long way over time to help some of those numbers stay steady. So with that.
Thank you, John. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lisa Stam. I'm staff attorney with Cheryl Morgan. We're the consultants for the city's employee benefits programs. And we have worked closely throughout the year with the Employee Health Insurance Committee to evaluate the plan performance and to consider renewal options. And as we always do, we've requested quotes from various third-party administrators, stop-loss carriers, and fully insured insurance carriers. And our recommendations are that you renew with custom design benefits as your third-party administrator and retain your 4 current plan designs. That you continue your partnership with the Jefferson Health Plan, which is a very large pool of over 200 public employers and over 28,000 employees. And one of the reasons that we made the recommendation last year to enter the Jefferson Health Plan was to provide a smoothing effect for the city's claims experience by pulling with that much larger risk pool. And another nice thing about Jefferson Health Plan is that it makes that 80-20 split that Mr. Hayden referred to much easier to do. When you're a self-funded plan and your plans vary from year to year, it's kind of hard to apply an 80-20 cost share. And the increase this year with Jefferson Health Plan was actually 7%, which is a trend renewal. So national trend is right now 7 to 9%. The next recommendation is to implement several new Kentucky insurance mandates. These are kind of obscure in nature, probably won't affect many of your plan members, if any, but as an ERISA exempt plan, you're really obligated to follow the state insurance mandate, so we always recommend that you incorporate them whenever they're made. And the next recommendation is, as soon as it's available, to implement international sourcing for non-specialty brand drugs. So believe it or not, you can purchase drugs a lot less expensively in other developed nations, particularly Canada, than you can here in the United States. So Kroger Prescription Plans, your pharmacy benefit manager, is working on this program, and it should be available during the course of this next plan year. And it will be a completely voluntary program in which employees who are taking brand drugs can sign up for this program and receive their medications directly to their home from Canada, usually 90 days at a time. And the benefit to them is not only convenience, but also no copay. And the benefit to the plan is a great reduction in cost. Typically 30 to 50% is what we're seeing on the cost of brand drugs. Same drugs made by the same manufacturers, just purchased much more economically. So as soon as that becomes available, we would like to implement that.
Is that a law change that is allowing that now, or why isn't it available today versus into the future?
No, there's been no law change. It's personal importation, so it's not that a company is buying the drugs and then reselling them. It's the drugs are actually being imported on a personal basis, and that's been allowed for some time.
Walk me through how that works. You know,
So
the doc is writing the script. How does
yeah.
it?
So KPP knows which members are taking brand drugs,
Okay.
and they'll do outreach to the member to say, hey, if you're interested, you can get this medication delivered to your home at no cost. And if they want to participate, they can, but they don't have to.
What is our current copay?
For brand drugs, it is, I think it's 25% of the cost of the drug. Yeah. So let me give you an example. Ozempic is a very common brand drug on your plan, and it's about $1,000 a month to the plan. After the 25% copay, it's $750 to the plan, and the member's copay is $250. So through this program, we could get that drug for about $700, and the member's going to pay nothing, and the plan in that particular example would save $50. But there will be examples where the plan savings are greater.
Is that the most common example now, because that's where real cost centers are for plans?
Ozempic and Mounjaro, other diabetic meds, but those two in particular.
Okay.
They're definitely driving plan costs, not just here at the city of Newport, but throughout the country.
Gotcha.
The next recommendation is to continue the direct contract with St. Elizabeth through Employer Advisory Services. The next one is to adopt the 2026 IRS maximums for the flexible spending account. To continue the wellness incentive, which is a $250 flexible spending account contribution that the city makes for employees who have an annual physical, and if their spouse is enrolled on the plan, their spouse also has to have the physical to get the incentive. And then lastly, to partner with Custom Design for the dental plan, so it would be a self-funded dental plan. The city is currently in a 2-year rate guarantee with Delta Dental. It's a fully insured dental plan. So it's not because of cost that we're making this recommendation. It's because a number of dentists have dropped out of the Delta Dental network, and that is a trend that we're seeing in the dental industry in this area. Dentists are just deciding they don't want to participate in networks. And so with the self-funded dental plan through Custom Design, they could see any dentist they want to see. So there's no in and out of network. They can go anywhere they want. And the plan design would stay the same.
So there is no network?
There'd be no network.
And then who makes the determination as the reasonable and customary cost?
So there are tables that are used in the industry, and we typically set the reimbursement rates at 90% of what's usual and customary. So it would be, the plan would pay up to what 90% of dentists charge for in the area for certain dental procedures.
Okay,
So that's how you control the cost. So it's not, a blank check.
right. Okay.
But there should be very minimal balance billing at that level of the usual and customary.
Got it. Anyone else on the board? Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so for the different organizations that you do this for, how would you compare our benefits for our city employees with contrast to different types of like municipalities?
Are you talking about the health benefits in particular?
Yeah.
On par. Most cities and counties in the Northern Kentucky area have a plan design very much like yours. So,
Okay, thank you.
Plan design like ours, do they share costs as we do?
that varies. I would say the majority of them don't have a percentage split, but they do require some cost sharing on the part of employees.
And majority self-funded or not self-funded?
The majority of governments who are your size are self-funded.
It just, walk me through this. I just watched recently on the news, and John, maybe you know, Campbell County Fiscal Court just recently went to a self-funded plan. Is it similar, or do you know much about it?
I know that they have. I don't know the answer as particular to their plan, no.
Okay. How many self-funded programs are there in Northern Kentucky?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
And I guess the
I have
follow-up
a
question
rough
is,
estimate.
why
50.
isn't there a pool of Northern Kentucky?
There are pools, yes.
In Northern
fact,
Kentucky only? Pool?
No, in Northern Kentucky, there are a couple of different pools. There's one called the Northern Kentucky Public Entity Pool, and we looked at that last year. At the same time, we looked at JHP. It's a smaller pool, but there are, I think, 17 governmental entities
Okay.
who are part of that pool. The reason that option was not pursued is because there was, at that time, a pretty substantial buy-in that was
Gotcha.
required, because the legacy groups in that pool had established a pretty hefty reserve, and they
Gotcha.
wanted new participants to buy into that reserve. Now, that pool is actually now a sub-pool of JHP, Jefferson Health Plan.
Okay.
So there's not that buy-in requirement, but the premiums in the Northern Kentucky pool are still higher than what you're paying independently in the Jefferson Health Plan. And there are a couple of other pools also that we manage. One for firefighters out in Boone County.
Okay. Well, thank you. That was helpful.
Anyone else? I do have a question, and when we do our educational seminars in regard to plan choice, it seems that everybody's choosing the top coverage. Are we demonstrating the value and the opportunities of what the other ones mean and what they look like? And are there any recommendations to make any of the changes with the plan designs of the others to encourage people for a value proposition?
We explain all the different plan designs and show them the premiums. We don't typically try to steer them in one direction or another, because we feel like each plan is appropriately priced with respect to employee contributions. So, I mean, if they want the, most expensive plan, then they pay for it. If they wanted to select one of the lower level plans, especially the HSA plan, the high deductible health plan, they could really reduce their premiums, but then, everything that they have done goes to the deductible before any plan payment.
Right, there's a risk profile, but we
Yeah.
do spend time
Yes.
going over each of them and
Yes,
the
we do.
benefits and the cost-benefit analysis of that.
Correct.
Okay.
What is the HSA max for 2026? Do you know off the top of your head?
As far as what you can contribute?
Yeah,
I don't know it off the top of my head. But
500 or something like that.
I think that might be the out-of-pocket maximum, but I'll double check up and I'll let Emily know and she can follow up with everybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, go ahead.
So employees would have the opportunity to change plans during open enrollment?
Yes, they do every year. Mhm.
So that's coming up shortly, isn't it? Yes.
Yes, I think first week of November, we're having open enrollment meetings.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Tiffany, please call the roll.
Excuse me, Commissioner Sutherland,
Yes.
Commissioner Radwanski,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Smith Morrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Recton.
Yes.
Mayor Kaduli.
Yes. Commissioner's Order number 75.
An order of the Board of Commissioners, City of Newport, Kentucky, authorizing and directing Mayor Thomas L. Kaduli Jr. to execute a dealer value lease agreement with Woodhull LLC regarding copiers for use by various city departments.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor, this is just the 5-year deal with our, related to copy machines and so forth in the building. Mr. Richardson is here with questions as to that, as he's negotiated the deal. This is a renewal, even though it was a renewal which allowed us to continue with them, we still got other prices as well. They are giving us the exact same price for the next 5 years as we paid for the previous 5 years. As they went through an analysis of how much we use, so forth and so on, they were able to better tailor that to our uses, so we're not seeing any increase. We've been very satisfied over the last contract term with Woodhull, so we didn't feel that there was any other offers that were out there that would merit us taking a risk with going somewhere new.
Thank you, John. Any questions on the board? That seems pretty cut and dry. Any questions from the public? Willie, did you want to say something?
If there are no questions, no.
All right. Tiffany, please call the roll.
Commissioner Radwanski,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Smith Morrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Recton,
Yes.
Commissioner Sutherland,
Yes.
Mayor Kaduli.
Yes. Which takes us to the department head comments. Chief Fangman.
I would like to address, everybody's watching the news and seeing some of the crime reporting that's going on, whether it's across the river or over in Newport, Covington, or Boone, Kent, or Campbell. I always like to give a perspective update. Anybody who hears me talk at any of the neighborhood meetings, I always like to give a good perspective of where we're at. Our secret ingredient to Newport is the residents. I got to give credit where credit's due. Throughout my entire career, we've always had people in our community cooperate. I have many police officer friends in other police departments that complain constantly about a lack of cooperation. And then they always look at me and say, "We know, Fangman, we know how it is in Newport. You're going to brag about it. We don't want to hear it." And I just laugh because the fact of the matter is we get so much cooperation when we are investigating in this city. It's a great sense of pride. We have really great residents, but that does come from leadership. And I do want to thank the board, mayor, city manager, assistant city manager. As a police department, we are a very supported entity. We have a lot of support in what we do. When the times are hard across the country, our officers are supported like no other around here. And with that said, I would like to get into some numbers. We had an incident down on 3rd Street. I've gotten a lot of questions about that. I want to assure everybody that that is not even really an outlier. It's just something in general that we will deal with from our perspective as law enforcement throughout our year in general. This year, for instance, and whoever's seen me knock on wood when I give some of the stats, because I don't want anything bad to happen. And believe me when I say this, I want zero crime, and I know everybody wants zero crime, especially gun violence crime. In the city of Newport, we are in Campbell County, as everybody knows, and we are the largest police entity in Campbell County. Between Boone, Kent, and Campbell counties, there's almost 400,000 people. Everybody hears me say about how large our metropolitan area is. We're bigger than Louisville, Lexington, Cleveland, Columbus, even Nashville. I know they're creeping up on us, but we're bigger than these areas. We have zero, and I say that again, 0 homicides in Newport this year. I'd say we typically, throughout my career, maybe average 1. Some years we have more if there's an outlier, but right now we're at 0. We are at 9 instances, corroborated actual instances, not where people think they hear fireworks, of shots fired. We're almost in November. That's incredible, just to give everybody perspective on how safe of the community we live in. And we've had 4 incidents of shootings where someone or something is actually struck. And again, 0 homicides coming from that. Those are, the more extreme crimes that we deal with, but those are the ones that I get asked about the most. And I say them as often as possible when I go to the neighborhood meetings. I want to be very transparent and let everybody know. I literally have people email me sometimes thinking they have 40 shootings in their neighborhood on Central Avenue in a year. And I can only chalk that up to the trolls on social media that just get people feeling unsafe by misinformation and things that are just not true. So hopefully that addresses some of currently what everybody's seeing on the news. And I said 9 incidents of shots fired. We can see the news over the course of a week. In some communities, we're seeing 9 homicides in a week. So that's pretty incredible. I think we should all be very proud of our community. Proud of our leadership, and why we are the way we are is nothing short of impressive, especially in my 22 years. Perspective over my career, not to make this too long-winded, but I always give the number. I was hired in 2004, went through the academy, I hit the street in 2005. Everything a police officer does in Newport is given a number through computer-aided dispatch. 2005, we were over 55,000 CAD numbers for what law enforcement were involved in. In the past 5 years, we've been as low as 26,000. So there is perspective on what we are able to do. We've been able to shift focus to retail theft situations. We know that if we aren't hard on retail theft, that we will be overrun by people outside of our city stealing from our businesses. And that number just comes up. I just gave a speech at a meeting with a bunch of investors and people that are planning on opening businesses in Newport. So I brushed up on all of my numbers and information, and it's a good time for me to kind of give that to everybody and take questions. If there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer and give even more perspective when possible.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you for the important work on behalf of the board, our residents, our business, that everyone does in keeping us safe.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you.
Chief Peluso.
Nothing, sir.
Brian Steffen.
Actually, Mayor, I do have just a couple of real quick things, breaking from my norm of nothing. So we've been getting some feedback on the street sweeping, or I'm sorry, the leaf collection. We did last year, and so we took some steps to try to better that this year. We're behind a little bit, but if everyone's noticed, we have some new street sweeping signs that we put up this year. We included a QR code that links directly to the leaf collection schedule. However, it's still pretty small on the sign, but we're trying to make some additional efforts to put out the information. We have some signs that we're going to put out in various locations around the city, letting people know that leaf collection has started. It did start last week on the 14th, so we're a little behind on getting those signs out. So if anyone gets any calls, just forward them to me or to Ray Ebert, and we'll be glad to talk people through that. But like I said, we are going to put some additional signage out in addition to the social media and the city's website and other efforts that we make to try to advertise that leaf collection schedule. But we're early enough now. I think we can still get the word out on leaf collection. Secondly, on the topic of transparency, we began compiling a staff report and putting that in the board's packet, and then giving greater detail of all of the agenda items that are in front of the board, and we also are putting that in the Agenda Center overview. This will replace the general overview summary page that we've been doing for several months now. This again is just another effort to create transparency. everything on there is public record and can be viewed by anybody, so we're trying to get that out as well. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Brian. Lenny? Uh-oh. I saw a folder, so I figured you had something to say.
Oh, it's yeah, I just want to know, tax bills are due in 11 days. The city will be open late. They'll be open till 6 on Wednesday, the 29th, 6 o'clock on Thursday, the 30th, and till 7 on the 31st. We just want to remind everybody, we do have drop boxes in the front and rear vestibule that are accessible 24 hours a day. And we do prefer check or money order. It is amazing how many people come in and pay in cash, but we accept cash, so just a reminder.
Awesome. Thank you for that update. All right. City Manager Hayden. I almost did it again.
Did it. Just a couple things. I was remiss in not recognizing the hard work that Josh did in Josh Tunning with the Read Ready event. He had a short amount of time and put together just a fantastic event, with help from our partners. He and Miss Rosemary Williams were there Saturday for the entire event, and it's just great to see. We've got a lot of forward-facing staff that are busy doing a lot of things in the community, and very proud of all the work that they do. Speaking of that, is our staff is a car show, which was supposed to be this past Sunday. Obviously, it got rained out. Some concerns, for all week long about what the weather was going to look like. So we did do a rain out dated November the 2nd. We realized that starts getting a little late in the year. And so hopefully the weather will cooperate, but if not, we are looking at pushing the car show a little earlier in summertime next year so that we run into one of these things that we're still able to reschedule it in plenty of time. Also, just one more thing on the health insurance. Alluded to it before. We are going to spend a lot of time in the early part of this year looking at all our options as it relates to health insurance and ways to keep the cost down for employees. We're going to look at bidding out for our broker. Not that we have anything negative to say about our experience with Cheryl Morgan, but I think that it's just good fiscal responsibility to take those things to the market from time to time and see what options are out there. Brian and I think he alluded to as well, we're going to spend some time in the insurance committee meetings looking at some of the other recommendations they make and seeing things that might need to be implemented. Sometimes employees are hesitant, whenever they think there's a change to what they may be receiving, but sometimes we can make those changes and there won't be a very drastic effect on them. So we're going to be very thoughtful as we go into this. Employee retention is one of the most important things that we have. There's only so much money that we can offer an employee, but having a good quality of life is another important thing. So even though that health insurance is expensive, I can tell you some of our employees that have come from other jobs and other health plans have said this is night and day better than what they've got in the other in their previous employment. So it is a great benefit. We don't want to lose that, but we also, as one of the themes that we have here, is being good stewards of the taxpayer money and making sure that we're getting our dollars worth of everything we do. That's all I have.
Thank you, John. On the board, Julie.
Sure. Well, just to follow up on that, I think that it seems a lot of very hard work's been done just in the last several days and before that. But the more that we can do to help our employees be informed and make good choices, the better off we'll be. I know health insurance has gotten expensive, so as we're able to, it's always my dream to give salary increases to offset things like that. So it's easier said than done, of course. But shout out to KYTC on their work on the 12th Street Bridge today and getting ready to address that potential issue with the bridge joint. Sometimes it seems like they may not move as quickly, so that was pretty big surprise. They found it and they said we're going to get working on it right away. So to let you know about OKI, the OKI Regional Council of Governments on October 9th. They are the recipient for federal funds for highways and transit and bike and pedestrian projects in the greater Cincinnati area. They made an award of awards of $82 million in grant awards. It's the biggest ever, so that's pretty exciting. Newport was not a candidate for a grant funding this year, but hopefully in the future we will be. And then finally, on Read Ready Newport, I think it is key. Many of these organizations that have been serving the community and able to serve the younger kids in the community have been around for a long time, and to find ways for them to work more closely together. I mean, this is not, I don't think any of this is brand new invention of anything. If anything, it's a bigger effort to get partnerships developed and outreach to the community. So I have high hopes, and very, very pleased that the city will be supporting this just as much as we possibly can. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, John, for being able to touch on the car show. The Captain Kunkel's put a lot of work into that, and being able to bring back that car show in the first place, as well as all the folks in the community who have given input to be able to make that such a memorable event. And yeah, I do think it's a great idea if we could try to bump that up earlier in the year. A lot of people, we used to restore cars in my family at one point in time, and by around Halloween, we would tuck the cars away for the winter. Generally speaking, your winter storage is a 6-month contract, and folks tend to put their cars away at the end of the season in November. You know, Chief, you touched on a little bit with the item that happened at the levee. It's very unfortunate, and but I want to say that I heard from a Newport resident, and within, I think it was 18 minutes, heard about it being resolved. So we could not be able to have the great amount of police protection that we have in services for folks here in Newport without having great staff and a great police department. So please pass that on down the line. I thought you all did an amazing job with that event. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Ken?
I want to speak a little bit about RMR. That's not unusual for me to speak about RMR. As we're all aware, we had a fire over the weekend again down there. What I really want to make note of is the fact that something that was negotiated for and was on site was instrumental, correct, Chief? The fire rover was instrumental in getting the fire out quickly and notifying the fire department of it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and I appreciate your response to, you know, the report on what happened there and the number of people that were called out, et cetera. But knowing all that, this was a violation of their EPA permit. So their violation permit, their permit to pollute, allows them to create dust and things for like 5 minutes in a 1 hour period. So that smoke lingered over our west side for probably a half an hour. This is a violation, and it was noted, and the local EPA people were notified of the violation. I would like to see us, you know, continue to monitor and to continue to watch, because this is not an issue that just goes away because they're no longer operating the shredder. They still have fires, they still pollute our air, they still create difficulty for our children, especially in the heavy metals that are usually floating over our city. So I do appreciate, though, Chief, the rapidness that you got down there and took care of the issue. That's all I have. Thanks, Tom.
Aaron?
Let's see. Yeah, the health costs are increasing, and inflation is quite frankly real. And even in my job, our health insurance premiums are going up, and it seems like it's not going away. So thanks to our staff for trying to figure this out and try to make it as less of an impact on our employees as possible, although acknowledging that it is going to continue to probably increase into the future. We are blessed to have some talented people that work on our staff, but also on our commission. The mayor negotiates health insurance contracts all the time in his job, so he has a pretty in-depth understanding of how health insurance contracts work. I worked in the field of ERISA law, doing employee benefits for a while too. So although I didn't ask any questions, I understood what she was talking about. But really appreciate the city manager and the assistant city manager. They're jack of all trades, great negotiators, and definitely trying to get to the bottom of things and figure stuff out. Also, our fire chief, our police chief, thanks for keeping us safe. It's to me that what happened this weekend. You have these people from another state coming from one state, going into Kentucky, into Covington, and then just driving to Newport, shooting a gun into the air, and crashing a car. It's the nature of our geographic location, I think, and I don't know what you can do besides swiftly arrest them, and that's exactly what you did. So, really appreciate you guys keeping us safe. Thanks to Josh Chunning for Read Ready and the rest of the staff that worked on that. Finally, Newport football beat Bellevue, so always a good thing. I usually don't comment on Newport versus NCC. Not going to talk about that game. We have some good athletes in this city. You know, Taylon Kinney, who played for Newport, is now committed to the University of Kansas basketball. So, pretty cool. Finally, trick or treat next week, 10:31, Friday night.
Rain or shine.
Rain or shine. That's all I got.
Thank you, Aaron. Well, we're just over an hour. It was a very good meeting, an efficient meeting, and I will look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Smith Morrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Recton,
Yes.
Commissioner Sutherland,
Yes.
Commissioner Radwanski,
Yes.
Mayor Kaduli.
Yes. Thank you all for being here.
See you, man.